Grace on Montreal. Montreal was all hardwood floors, right? Go on, camera. Camera. I'd like to. That's my favorite thing. That's my favorite. No. Well, look up
So how much styrofoam?
No. Way too much styrofoam. The birds are confused. Like, what's this city doing?
That was a screw up. I was muted. I muted myself. I should have gotten the hint when the audio wasn't coming back out of the screen. And thank you, Vince. So I said hello, Hapsters. I said hello, replay viewers. Welcome, replay viewers. And I said how weird it is to be doing that when I'm on my own as opposed to when Martin does it with me. And he's the one who gets to say those things, but without... I said, but that's okay, Martin's nearby. If I really, really need him, then I'll just call on him. And then Martin from off camera started snickering, and I said, what are you snickering about? And he said, say it 3 times. You know, and I said, Martin, 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 but it doesn't sound right. And, you know, he's not in his Beetlejuice makeup, and that's been a long time since he's done Beetlejuice, so... It was much more natural and cool when I said it the first time. Just got home. Yay! Just got home to check up on me. Uh-oh. Martin Vince is checking up on me. I'm worried. I'm nervous. And I thought, you know, I'll take this great position in front of the computer. And that way you guys can see the banner. And I just realized that, oh no, sorry, it's the opposite of a mirror. I just realized that the work table is in front of things like the web page and stuff. That was a partial fail. I did it so... No, I didn't. I did it kind of badly yesterday. I got everything in the wrong order, too. Damn. Well, listen, everyone who is watching me not on Haps, I finally figured out how to attach my Haps to Twitch. I have no idea how it's working. It took me a half hour to remember the password, and just as I remembered it, it was after I changed it to something else. And it was like, oh, but now it's something else. I'll see if I can remember that. Because the last time I used Twitch was still back in British Columbia. That was a while ago. That was definitely. I just wanted to see you're good. I'm alive. I thought it was time to talk, on a more, women behind the scenes and how hard it is to do what I do. And when I look at trends and when I look at commonalities between myself and other people, the biggest thing seems to be the fact that I have parts that other people don't have. So, Haps is so glitchy. Well, you look like you are on either Twitter or Periscope. Hatch could be Haps could be glitchy tonight. Haps tongue broke. Haps could be a little glitchy tonight. It happens when there's a lot of people on. I no longer have the other device to be able to check is unfortunately in front of Martin. Martin, would you do me a favor and pop on over to Haps and turn the volume off so we don't get feedback and take a peek for me and take a break from your tasks. He's got paperwork tonight. He's got all the photos for the new store to do. We're trying to get as much product up as possible. I still have some conversions to do, but they can wait a little while. So we'll see how glitchy it is by using another device. It's been keeping me entertained while I was on my 30-minute. Oh no, you are so welcome. We weren't sure whether or not we were going to see you at all, and it was nice to be back out of the guild. I wish it wasn't so cold, because we would have walked around the whole property, but we'll do that when it's warmer. And we were using my phone, so we want to see. We want to be able to compare how much data the phone took. Hi, Lovebug. We want to see how much data the computer took. Sorry, the phone took in comparison to the iPad. So everyone who's not watching me on Haps, I am presently on Haps. It's haps.tv, and of course you can find myself and or Martin at Car Hunger. So at Car Hunger, CarRrHunger. This Mike is not going to be able to pick him up over there, so unfortunately I had to spell his last name for him. But yes, go ahead and subscribe to us and support us. We are still doing the Valentine's Day special day where we're going to write a Lord of the Rings story based on you. If you're a sponsor of $5 and more, you will get into the story. So there you go. That has to happen by the 12th because we need time to be able to write the story. And if you go to our HAPS profile, you will see I already have up there for the sponsors that are $5 and more. I already have up there requests as to what do they want to be? An elf, a troll, you know, yeah, a goblin, a hobbit, what do they want to be? A boring human? Martin, tolerates being human. So Martin's looking at it on the other iPad and he says it's not glitchy. It's a little bit stuttery. Well, how many people are presently on Haps, Martin, for me, please? Well, just go back. Well, in our feed, it won't be able to tell me everyone. But, yay, love one. We want to say hi to each other. So, when it comes to people we're following, click that little red lettering below the three little previews. Yeah, one more. So there's 4 live broadcasts of the people that we're following. So it could be glitchy because it's working its way down to Periscope. I guess with the end of Periscope, they're going to probably start protesting soon because they want us all to do Twitter live. But I would rather be here on Haps where I can do goody things and things that I do not need an OBS for anymore and code for, and which is kind of a bummer because we have a whole year's worth of subscriptions. It was on sale, so we didn't lose a lot of money, but for StreamYard. And now this is doing better than that. So, yeah. Oops. We'll write it off as a business expense for next year and hope to God the store, the online store, a new thing for us, does really well. But you guys have been talking a lot, or at least I've gotten a lot of messages in the past few years, and people seem to want to talk about, women and men in the industry, especially in the tech half of the entertainment industry, and what it's like to be in both halves, like whether or not I have an easier time with the whole acting thing or an easier time with the whole tech thing. And I thought it would be a really good subject tonight because, with COVID hopefully soon to be lifted at least to a degree that most of us can get work, and starting our own store where we will be doing custom work, for people, I thought I'd get on and talk about that, and especially being perimenopausal, how that's going to affect me. I like talking about these things. People keep congratulating me for being brave. I don't see it as brave. I just don't feel as a society we talk about these things enough. And if we did and we understood each other a little more, we wouldn't be so angry at the world and we'd handle things a lot better. Christina Martin, it was cool that I got to see the Guild Inn. It was so cool to see the property. Yeah, and you only saw one half of it. Actually, on one portion of it, there's actually more. If you go around the other side, there's another path, and yeah, you walk all the way along the bluffs. If we had had the time, and it wasn't so cold, we would have driven you guys down to the other section of the bluffs, and you can see how close some of the, because one of the estate properties is just down the road, and it's right out in the open, whereas the other ones are behind big bushes and stuff like that. But you can see how close this one is to the bluffs. And if we drove back along Kingston Road a while, we could have gone down to Bluffers Park, and I'd show you where the little jutty of clay that I used to sit on and look at the world. And everyone kept saying that it was dangerous. Well, of course it's dangerous, but that was me. It's now gone. Well, it's a tiny little stump. Before it was pretty big, pretty long. And then we could have driven a little further back and shown you this one park where if you go to the one corner, you can see someone's backyard, and you can see where the old fence line, the remains of the old fence line are halfway down the bluffs, and you can see how close it is and how much it's gobbling up this person's property. But it was too cold, and Martin and I had to get back into that car. We ran back to the car, well, a brisk walk, and then we stuck the heater on and did our best to heat up our toes. And Martin, unfortunately, as he warmed up a bit, did wind up needing to go to the washroom, and the main washrooms are closed this time of year because it is a park system park, and so he had to go to the washroom in a porta potty in the cold. And so he dashed out the car door, ran over to the porta potty, disappeared inside, and I watched and waited to see whether or not he froze to the porta potty. And a few moments later, he came out and came running towards me and jumped back in the car and said, "Well, they haven't cleaned that one out in a while." And there he is putting sanitizer and cleaner on his hands because, well, they haven't cleaned that one out in a while. So it's yeah. So I asked him if it was all frozen. He said, "Not yet." Um, he's trying not to look over at me and laugh. He's trying to focus on the job at hand for him. Excuse me a moment. I have to not. Now he's laughing, Martin. No, even though this is a "Don't Poke the Lion," we are still not that kind of broadcast. Because yeah, "Don't Poke the Lion" definitely is not that kind of broadcast. Well, I don't know. I guess if a mature woman going into menopause wants to talk about it, I might go to a certain level, but I will warn you guys first. I'm not gonna just spout it out and blurt. Yeah, I know, love bug. Just like, but he took it with good humor, which is the best way to take it. He's grinning at me on the side of his mouth. He just keeps looking over. Eventually, he probably will disturb this broadcast, but I'm very happy that he's got his nose to the grindstone and dedicated to getting these things done because they have to get done. They just have to get done because we want this store up. We've now been passed over to another designer who is already doing twice as much as the previous one. And I have to remember to log into Shopify and get rid of that store before Shopify starts charging us. And because this lady is putting us on Square because we already have a Square account and you can put videos on listings in Square. Apparently the free Shopify layouts, etc., 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 you can't. So the previous person who was dealing with our contract, I think he was lazy, or he just loves Shopify, but he discouraged Square. And now that we went over it with her this morning, Square is a better way for us. So we're going back and we're redoing all the photos and videos to be the format for Square, and this is going a lot faster than it did with Shopify. So. Christina, since you're going through this, it's called menopause, honey. Hope there will be the light at the end of the tunnel. Well, there is and there isn't, and of course this is the hardest thing about a woman going into perimenopause and then finally into menopause, depending on who she is. This is the thing about it. you know, you start, there is no light, but there is no darkness. It's completely how you approach it because everything changes and you're always going to have some aspects of yourself. But those of us who have been on it longer, like the perimenopausal state, longer, the beginning state of menopause is the most sensitive because the brain develops patterns no matter what. And if that pattern develops and your body can't keep up with it, or the pattern holds you back and your body's moving ahead, it winds up being a very contradicting thing. And since I've been in the entertainment industry a good chunk of my life, I, there's a good chance it'll affect me. And I will either take it personally or I won't. I've been in menopause for 5 years after 6 years of peri. Wow, love bug, you're not far off from me. We estimate 8 years of perimenopausal for me. And the only reason I am fresh into menopause is because I decided to get the surgery done because I was what they called fake pregnant. Well, there's a terminology for it, and I can't remember what it is. But my body was trying to grow a baby, but it didn't have the egg to grow it with, nor the sperm for that matter. So yeah, it was a mess because I was having liquid monthlies whenever it felt like it, and then the gobby stuff was equivalent to a miscarriage, and it was emotionally and physically and focused brain-wise screwing me up. And that affected the industry, my position in the industry a lot, and it was a huge struggle. So I fried, I burnt out. And now I'm trying not to burn out again, but in order to do that, I have to not do what I did before, whereas a lot of people in my life expect me to do what I did before. So if you're willing to share, uh, so you're how old now, Lovebug, if you wouldn't mind? So we can do the math as to when you went into menopause and when you went into peri. So you guys can see, like, I mean, technically, Lovebug has had 6 years of perimenopausal state. The longest recorded case is 10 years. And that's someone who did not go and get the surgery. So their perimenopause was something very different than mine. With mine, I was literally bleeding to death, which, wasn't a healthy or a good thing. You're 56. Okay, so you're a little older than I am. So 56, so that means you went in at 51 into menopause, and then it would have been 45 years old for peri. And that's on average. It's more common for a woman to go into it, after she's 45 years old. It's less common when you start at 35. I had a friend of mine who had to have the surgery at 25 because her body just she we don't know if she didn't have eggs in the first place or if she just had so few of them. But she went into perimenopausal state really, really, really young, and she was one of those really rare cases. So she had to have the surgery because it was just she couldn't function, and she had to face the fact that she will never have babies. If she wanted to adopt, she could, but she chose not to, and she has a very bisexual relationship with someone, and they're in love. They've been in love for quite some time. And I've got another friend who went into the surgery when she was young too. I can't remember how old she was, but yeah, she chose not to have babies, and instead of going and doing it like most other people, um, wait until the problem happened. She just went in and said, "Listen, I'm just not going to do this," and made the choice. So, there's all different types of women who struggle with this, and the worst thing about it is how it affects your emotions. Love bug, how was your peri? And I don't mean Periscope. Did you find that you had times where you were just going to kill the whole world no matter what? You have no children. Yeah, neither do I. One of the things the gynecologist said to me is there's a good chance that uh, he doesn't have all the statistics, but I was asking him, is there a greater chance that a woman who did not have children, is there a greater chance that she has a more difficult perimenopause than menopausal state? And he said, really, there's no rhyme or reason, and there's no real research because it's so hard to track, and very few women are willing to talk about it. When I've tried to talk about in the past how difficult it is to be a woman on the tech side, and how Martin got full union simply because it made more sense. He was going to get paid more, he's going to get more jobs, and he could bring me in as assistant. Part of that is because I'm a woman. It's really, really, really difficult to get these jobs when you're a woman. It's difficult to get paid more. It's difficult to get paid even the same. But if a guy brings you in, it's a whole different story. But there's no point in us paying two sets of union dues if, if he's the one who's going to get most of the work. How are you coping through menopause? So, yeah, Vince, that's a great question. Women should be asked this more often. Now, there's a lot of comedy stuff out there, and I'm hoping one day to do a stand-up routine. I just haven't had the courage yet, because really, this needs to be in people's faces. It may be a natural part of life, but we're not dying until we're much older than we used to be. Like, we used to be dead at this age. Yeah, but, that's not the case anymore. So we're living whole lives that people in our age bracket many, 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 many years ago never did. It's a whole different state of mind, and we all have to kind of reprogram our brains to get to it. Like I had to go through it alone. In what way, love bug? My period was most difficult because I went through divorce, okay, and lost my father and sister all at the same time, and lost your father and sister all at the same time. You had to go through it alone. And that, again, unfortunately, that's a bit of a tragic truth. Um, a lot of people say that I'm lucky because I have Martin through it all. But quite frankly, folks, I'm not. No one taught him what it was. No one taught to him to expect it. No one, his mother never talked about it at all. My mother never talked about it. So all these changes started happening, and we got into, for a few years there, we got into some really serious rip-roaring fights because he couldn't function and I couldn't function. I would completely go off the deep end, and he would be staring at me and not know what to do, so he'd mimic his father. He remembers his mother doing these kinds of things, so he'd mimic his father. But I don't need his father; I need him. So the last 6 to 10 years has been really, really difficult for us. So yeah, it's a win-win, lose-lose. You just never know. It's like I keep thinking that women somewhere in our brains and our genetic makeup have this big roulette wheel that when we get to this point where the eggs go bye-bye, we spin the roulette wheel and cross our fingers. You know. Um, Sorry about that. Yeah. Yeah. See, and ladies, I'll confess, like I mean, guys have got to learn to face the fact that at a certain point they start losing their sperm a lot slower, so they have plenty of time to adjust. But if their brains don't go there first, they're going to be struggling with it and getting angry the rest of their lives. And we were watching The Simpsons. We're catching up on season 30, and there's an episode where Marge does these Tupperware parties, and she winds up faking it as a drag queen in order to feel important. And Homer goes and gets into drag at the end of the episode in order to show his wife respect and lift her up. Martin started crying. And it was the most adorable thing I'd ever seen. Like, I mean, he's cried in front of me before, but he was crying over the fact that Homer Simpson, like one of the biggest male, close-minded, stereotypical arse, in the cartoon world, was getting into makeup and a dress for his wife to feel special. And that just triggered Martin. And it was beautiful. It was really, really beautiful. So I confessed to another friend. I told her this story. And she says to me, well, I'm no longer married. And I think if my husband had done that, I'd be embarrassed. This is a Facebook friend. And one of the Rennies back in Washington State. That's all I'm going to say, honey. That's all I'm going to say. She's no longer on my friends list. I know she's not on yours anymore anyway. So that's that. But yeah, I said to her, I said, well, it was beautiful for me. And she's like, no, it's a weakness, and men should not show weaknesses. And I'm like, you're 20 years younger than me. Just you wait. You think Mr. Macho that you're involved with is going to stay that way forever? Not without hurting his nervous system, his brain, his body, and the chance of having a healthy future. So yeah, we're no longer friends apparently. So you can't. And women are the worst. We turn on each other so fast. And it's like, oh, everyone's in the hen house, or like a lot of people do with the costumers, and the SCA people, the bitch and stitch. In other words, we sit around, we sew, and we complain about people. I don't want to sit around and sew and complain about people. I want to sit around and build or sew or do whatever it is I'm doing with a bunch of people who will sing to the radio or will sing to the record player or will watch TV as we go. I don't care if a majority of a shop is male or female. Are we all doing the job? Don't take my job away from me. Let me do it, and don't hire me because you want some grant money. Nice, it's really nice that I got the job, but I want it on my own. I need it on my own merits because that's confidence. And that confidence is the same in practically every human being. Don't let body parts dictate that. Please don't let body parts dictate it. I got your back. There you go. Vince, you are a sweetheart. Uh, I mean, Vince, you're a rarity. You really are a rarity. And because of that, that makes you special. And if anyone ever tells you you're that kind of special, the short bus special as the expression goes, just smile very politely, take a deep breath. I know you're going to feel it inside. A lot of us do as well. But just take that deep breath and smile at them and tell them that because of your physical lack of height, you are not only the cutest person on the planet, but short buses are easier to get onto. Very rarely can they come back with something even more clever, you know? Freddie, Christina, I worked harder than any other guy. That's for sure, and I still don't get the same amount. Which is why it's really hard for me when I see people on the social medias ask Martin all the prop questions. I mean, there are productions he worked on that I didn't and had nothing to do with it. But there are productions I worked on and he didn't have anything to do with it. I mean, I was the prop builder, prop master, and gun handler on set for a mid-size independent. I say mid-size because, it was one of those I'm just uh, digging around for a while and just, wanted to do something small for a friend. And it was actually a fair size. Like, I mean, they sold it at a festival. That was years ago. But I made the replica guns. I brought the replica guns to set, and I spent the whole 6 days of shooting babysitting the replica guns, so no actor would mindlessly walk down the street with them still in a holster. Because that's the last thing we wanted was someone thinking there's real guns in someone's holster. Yeah, and it's amazing how many people were like, "Oh, Martin sent you, right? Martin made the guns. Martin sent you." No, I made those guns. I made those guns. I weighted them like real guns so the actors can feel like they're holding real guns. I made those guns. But people couldn't believe it. They were just like, "Oh, Martin sent you. You're babysitting the guns. He's off doing a real production." No, actually, he was not doing anything at that time. He was rebuilding houses. He was working for a company fixing up old houses, like all the old wood and the cabinets and all that stuff, and doing cabinetry. Well, I was on production. So it's amazing. You have certain body parts, and suddenly everyone assumes that it's not you and it's him. And that's the hardest thing about being married as well as being business partners, is very rarely does anyone really realize that I have a part in these things. And they don't want to. It's almost like it's a threat to their existence. And love you both. I will never forget that. Thank you, honey. Um, you should take the credit because you made the guns. Well, I did take the credit, but it doesn't mean people believe it. Love Bug, I'm trying to remember, have you had the chance to tell us what industry you're in? What's your job? And whether or not you've had that problem? And did it change? Did those problems get better or worse when you became perimenopausal? We'd love to hear the other side. My story is not the only one, and I think every woman should basically not scream it out because that's really aggressive, but and people tend to shut off. But talk about it and share it. And hello, Too Late for Love. If you're still there, Love Bug, I'd love to hear profession. Did the perimenopause or the menopause affect that profession? And did you struggle with it? Sup, Rob? But Vince, it's like we were at a convention and we had our R2D2 on display in the props and costume room. And sometimes Martin has a hard time too. It took him years before he, excuse me. Oh, it's a piece of hair in my, I have hair sticking directly in my ear because I had put I tried some gel out to see if I can get some body out, and no, the gel isn't working. As you can see, it's not doing what I wanted to do. So I'm going to tuck that right back behind my ear. I'm in sales. I lost all my patients during Perry. Yeah, I did too, and it's horrible because you want to explain it to people, right? You just want to explain it to them, but they're just sitting there going, you're a woman." Well, yes, but no. But no, we were at this convention. Please keep sharing Love Bug. I'll keep talking, and I'll stop when I see you type. Um, Hope all's good. Yeah. So we were at the convention. Our R2D2 was on display. Martin and I were running around doing other stuff. So I'm getting better at being more patient. You kind of have to. Were you also patient when you were younger, like before the perimenopause hit? Were you also patient and you felt you lost that patience, and now you're kind of struggling to get it back, even though it's still a very natural thing for you to be? Please tell me I'm not the only one. I've been feeling really lonely through this process. Yeah, because Martin is not a woman. He's never had perimenopause, and he's never been menopausal. And it's a lot easier for a woman to accept a man going into andropause, and losing his little sperm, a little bit at a time. It's a lot easier for a woman to look at a guy and say, it's okay to cry. It is a lot harder for a guy to idealize a woman, yeah, and be able to say, oh my God, you're a psycho, and be okay with it. He's good, good, and surviving, good. But yeah, someone who didn't respect me, hi Katrina, someone who had no respect for me, grabbed a girlfriend of his, and his latest, he went through girlfriends like water. And this was 94, 95, no, it was later because R2 was completed. So it was 97 or 98, something like that. So it was a while ago. But he walks up with his girlfriend, and he walks around, and he walks up to the R2, and Martin and I are over by the registration table because we were judges for the model contest, and we were taking the contrast entries and looking them over. And we hear him tell his girlfriend that him and Martin worked on R2. Now, we did spend some time with him to show him some of our tricks because he was building his own R2D2 at the time. But he told her that he and Martin built that R2. And I looked over at Martin and I'm like, Martin, go over there and fix it. I mean, I would, but I'm only going to look like a freaked out, frantic, insecure female if I go over and say, hold on. But if Martin goes over there, it's a completely different story. It's a man to a man, and he can say, no, I taught you some of these techniques. I built this with my wife. But he didn't because Martin felt uncomfortable, because again, guy to guy. And because he grew up very shy and a bit of a wallflower, as he's already admitted to you guys, he couldn't do it. He's still proud of me, he still loves me, he still recognizes what I did with that droid and how we worked on it together. But he couldn't walk up to someone else and say in front of someone else, especially a girlfriend, no, you didn't, you're lying. I was very patient, lost it in Perry, working with therapists to get it back. See, Love Bug just confirmed for me. We are not the minority. This is actually the majority. I'm mellowing out. See, Katrina as well. There is this chunk in your life where you lose so much, and I've been fighting not to lose it because I have such a history in this industry. And poor Martin only sees his mother at this point because I'm starting to mimic her. And he was born immediately before she went into perimenopause. Like, he was literally the last egg in her body. So he's the miracle child. So he grew up spoiled and everything. So when I get all angry and frantic and out of control, Martin's sitting there going, oh, that's the version of my mom. Meanwhile, I'm going, don't do that, 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 don't do that. I am not your mom, I'm not your mom. And it becomes even more overwhelming for me. So yeah, most women who go through these stages, yeah, we get anxiety, we get, lose our patience, we no longer have that solidity. I have to try to meditate twice as much as I did in my 20s and my 30s, now because of perimenopause and menopause. But, we've got to, the hardest thing about me is I've got to be able to mellow out because the anxiety is going to kill me if I don't. I'm on high blood pressure all the time. And save the energy for when I'm on a cast like this or when I'm on a stage and I'm performing. But I can't lose my oomph because I'm still in the entertainment industry. I mellow out too much, I lose all my work. I won't be able to sell a product. I won't be able to build something. I will not be able to confidently go on set and say I'm here and I can do the job. So it's a really difficult balance when you're in certain industries. Katrina, what do you do? Love bug is in sales, which can't be easy when you just want to freak out on a customer. I know I'm having a harder and harder time looking at a director and not wanting to kill them. Yeah, or some new young thing who's just fresh in the industry going, I'm going to be rich and famous. And I'm like, not that way, you won't. And I just want to go, just get out of my way. Just give me the job and quit, please. I just, yeah. Whereas before it was like, young thing, it'll learn. Now it's, yeah, I want to take you. I don't want to move you over here because you got my job. And just get out of my way. Get out of my way. Stop being so woke. Stop being so woke. Hey, Big Juicy, get your butt over to Haps. Oh, wow. Psycho women, you say that like it's a bad thing. Okay, Facebook user, who are you? You'll be right back, Vince, okay? Katrina, what do you do for a living? Remind me. I think you have told us before. Hello, Lorena. It's LOL. Thank you. Um, Big Juicy. Big Juice, where have you been, dude? Get over to Haps. Get over to Haps. Are you watching on Periscope or Twitter? Are you watching on Periscope or Twitter? Get over to Haps. Help me out. Come on. Lorena, I assume you're over 35. 35 is the youngest recorded age for women going into perimenopausal and having a state and having it affects their life. You work as a dorji? Katrina, please? Is that a typo or is that actually a... Because you know I'll Google it. You see, this is also why I have no problem trolling the trolls. I'm at that hormonal stage where it's just like, I got nothing to lose, I'll do it. And I think that's also the worst thing about the later years in life is your brain's like, I got nothing to lose. When you're young, you're like, I have nothing to lose, I'll do everything and I'll survive it. You know, once you get past a certain point, it's like, I have nothing to lose, I don't care if I survive it. Public health building as a COVID screener. That's right, we did talk about that. And memory is also a difficult thing for a perimenopausal and a menopausal woman. I've got these games that I'm supposed to play every single day that the gynecologist gave me, and I haven't been. I've been really bad, very naughty. I'm very naughty. Same one as last time. Never use a lighter for a flashlight. It can result in broken nose. Hi, red eye. Well, yeah, psycho women are a bad thing when you're raging on a guy that doesn't know if he's allowed to hit back, you know. And as an expression, guys, it's not like, you know, I've got a bloody nose or anything, or neither does Martin yet. Watching on Periscope, you guys had me blocked. I had to get back on my old account. Blocked. Okay. Hang on, Martin's asking me a question about the webpage. Hold on a second. I gotta mute you guys. I'll be back in a second. Oh, sorry, gotta turn the mic back on. Sorry about that, guys. Martin was asking me some login info, and I honestly just gave him like 4 different possibilities, and hopefully one will work. We'll see. So, well, why don't you get over on Habs, Big Juicy? Why not? How do you spell meat? M-E-A-T? Why red eye? Dare I ask if this is still red eye? That's the hardest thing about it saying Facebook user, because we've had it before where I've assumed it's one person and it's actually 3 or 4. So, Katrina, I work at Public Health Building. Right. So, Katrina, may I ask how old you are? You said meet us. I said meet us. Okay. Um, sometimes I talk so fast I don't know what I said, but you're probably thinking if I said meet us, it would probably be MEET then, not MEAT. You did not specify which meet. Could be mead, MEAD. Could meet us. I wouldn't mind some mead. Haps, I'll give it a try after March 31st. The Periscope is really shut down. Oh, it is. Oh, it is. We will not be able to broadcast as of the 31st. They are offering broadcasters copies of their broadcasts, which I keep meaning to go back and check out. Hey, Lorena, you did Hello from Mill Creek. Yay. Just turned 49 a couple of weeks ago. Okay, Katrina. So when did it start for you? Did you say you're mellowing out, so I'm assuming you already went through perimenopause? The longest reported case is about 10 years. And Julian Anderson of X-Files had a horrible long run of it as well. She wrote a book on it where X-Files had to assign her help in order for her to continue with the job and the contract. Who grew up in Botham. There you go. Some meat sounds good. And I know, and of course the doctor says to me, now that you're menopausal officially, even when you were perimenopausal, you should not be having red wine or chocolate. And I'm sitting there going, I'm perimenopausal to menopausal, and you don't want me to have red wine or chocolate. You have a death sentence, doctor. You have a death sentence. Well, I guess in small quantities, but when you get into that emotional state, what do you want? Red wine and dark chocolate. I'll be fine. I stopped buying dark chocolate at the corner store because I was not getting a break. I was like everywhere with all the sugar and everything. And but yeah, so it kind of mellows you out, but at the same time it contradicts with what your hormones are doing. So apparently it's not healthy for you after all. And when you're on a production set and you've got to be patient with the biggest idiots on the planet, yeah, red wine and or chocolate is really not good for you while you're trying, and not even coffee. A lot of women who drink a lot of coffee once they go perimenopausal have nothing but an even more difficult time because their heart's going at it. And I mean, right now, even talking to you, I got a hot flash. Thank God for makeup. Right? If you were to give me coffee right now, yeah, I probably wouldn't be able to stay here talking to you. And you're going to see too on the 14th, once I'm in Elf, once I'm in that costume, um, I'm going to get warm real fast. That's usually how it happens. The smallest thought or stressful moment, and that's it. Whoo! I'm sure at some point I'll calm down. The trick is to keep my career intact while I'm trying to calm down. They give us a date to remember. Okay, Periscope just could have said goodbye. No. They wanted to give us a chance to talk us over onto Twitter Live, and a lot of us have come over to Haps instead. No wine or chocolate. Why get out of bed? I know! And that coming from you, Red Eye? Jeez, when a guy says that, you definitely are my friend. I'm definitely not getting rid of you. I live on red wine. Your doctor must be. Yeah, my gynecologist is a man. This is true. But when my female doctor backed him up, I looked at her like, how old are you? And she's like, 30. And I'm like, yeah, you don't get it yet, do you? I don't care what your training says, honey. And her last name is Christodoulos. So she's like Greek or something. So when she gets to menopausal or perimenopausal state, I will make you a bet. Yeah, she's going to drink like a Greek woman should. I was a psycho blank before. Yeah. I've gone through now about 6 to 8 years of that, and it was really hard to run a team for a company. And I've lost the company, and part of that is because you can't make people understand what you're going through. You can tell them what you're going through and hope they understand. But certain age brackets, certain personality types, certain, I was told so many times you're just faking it because you're female and in that age group. Folks, this is not something a woman fakes. This is not, she can fake an orgasm, especially if she's really good at it. But you can't fake perimenopause and menopausal state. You can't. Because if you are, you're trying to commit suicide the really long way around. Gotta go to bed early tonight, early start tomorrow. Ciao for now. Later. La, la, la. I'm not sure. I just started having hot flashes in 2019. Oh, Katrina, really? You lucky blank. Now, you see, I just don't want to be, you know, blanked at work, but yeah, you lucky chick. Yeah, and see, women who are getting the hang of it will call each other names all the time, and the next person who comes up to me and says, "Don't call your fellow female that," I'm going to look at them and go, "No, no, no. If a guy calls me that, he's down. If a woman lightheartedly smiles at me and goes, 'Oh, you bitch,' then that's fine. There is a difference. You must develop sarcasm or you will not survive. Seriously, really serious women, women who are just serious all the time and so structured and so particular, I swear their brains fry halfway through the process, and they just become numb bums. They just don't function anymore. And it's like, guys, you've got your middle age. You've got another half of your life in front of you. Behind and front. You've got so much to look forward to. Don't, and nope, they shut down anyway. Um, it's not called menopause. It's called andropause. Andropause. Martin's nodding his head. I always get it wrong. Andropause. Look it up. Andro. Yeah, when Martin found the information on andropause, that helped him more than learning about menopause and perimenopause. When he was studying what I was going through, he just didn't know what to do. But once he turned it on himself and started focusing on what he was going through and why it's so different from what I was going through, that's when things got a little better. He still trips every once in a while, and I look at him and I shake my head and I tell him that I'm disappointed in him. Then I realize I sound like his mother and turn around and go, "Listen, just don't do it again, okay?" Hello, hello, Boba Fett. So it's a really difficult thing, but hot flashes, my first hot flashes, 2016, the night sweats started shortly after. And then I had, 2 years of every single night sweats. And now they're back. They went away for a while and now they're back. And they've been back now for almost 2 years. You know, just after the surgery. So I'm right back to Martin. There's a mat we put on the floor every single night, just in case. Martin will crawl out of bed, give me the whole bed, and lie on the mat. Because it's not that he's being kind, although I guess he is, but it's that he wants to sleep. And it's physically impossible for me to wake up and go, "Night sweats, be gone." It doesn't work like that. That little tiny box doesn't exist, people. The edges of the screen does, but that little tiny box that is the world doesn't exist. Hello. I watched a scope about alcoholic in Canada. They're saying the numbers are rising during COVID. Well, they're rising all over the place. All over the globe, alcohol sales are rising in every single country, including the United States. It's just in Canada we kind of make it more obvious because we think it's funny. And not that we're all becoming alcoholics. It's just we're drinking more alcohol as a whole. It's our coping method. Hey, we got better beer than the United States. How can we not drink more alcohol? Well, that's another thing a menopausal woman shouldn't have. Beer, apparently. I'm going to treat myself to some oatmeal stout next week, just to prove a point. I'm not sure what point. Night, night. I'm not sure what point, but I'm sure I'll figure it out at some point. How many times can I say point? Oh, Martin, make sure you take a picture of those lit. Okay. But yes, the alcohol sales are rising, but they're rising across the globe. No, just need a picture lit. Unless you want to provide me with a video, but yeah, I don't know. I'll leave it up to you, Martin. I'm trying to figure out what products should look like online. I don't miss the beer or the wine. Oh, really? Katrina, were you a casual drinker, a heavy drinker, a daily drinker? And and yeah, because I'm interested in that. I have a genetic disposition to alcoholism. In other words, I have to fight harder to make sure I don't get drunk, but I definitely do still appreciate my alcohol. I'm just a bit of an alcohol snob. That happened about 30 years ago. I became quite the alcohol snob. Anywhere between, yeah, about 25 to 30 years ago, because I started having access to better alcohol, and yeah, and it didn't help once I moved to BC. Running my festival, we had a winery supporting us uh, at the pub, and of course there were always samplings before the festival weekend, and at the end of the weekend there were usually a few bottles that came home with us as well. Being the producers, you kind of have access to this stuff because you already paid for it. So yeah, I became much an alcohol snob pretty quickly, and there are some things I will never drink again. I discovered that a $30 bottle of wine, of port, 10-year-old tawny port, properly aged, a $60 bottle of that. You drink it in shots because it's fortified wine. You don't drink the whole thing. You drink like a little thing before you go to bed type thing, or you have it with chocolate or whatever. It's a treat. It's not the kind of thing you're supposed to down like alcohol, like major alcohol. Um, but I've discovered that it has like little to no effect on me. Even if I have 4 or 5 of those shots, it doesn't have an effect on me. But take a cheap bottle of $15 wine and down it, and that's it. I'm done. I'm just done. So I think it's because it's fortified. So that's what made me a bit of a snob, and that's why I can't really down a bottle of wine because all I'm thinking is, oh my God, I just downed $60 worth of wine, fortified wine, and I'm not getting the effect. But the cheap wine is just so damaging to your body that do you really want that effect? Um, I was one to drink whiskey. Don't like beer or wine. Whiskey. Nice. And you don't at all? You completely gave it up, or do you treat yourself? And this is it, guys. As your hormones change, even you men, don't don't fight yourself. Just don't fight yourself. It's not worth it. Your body and your mind is going to do what it's going to do. And if you're suddenly getting beer bellies and you're not functioning as well in your brain as you were before, that's because you've reached a point in your life where your body is not recuperating. And what's the point of shortening your life when you know you can live longer? And women do have a harder time, but it doesn't mean we're the only ones that have that time. Guys have a bit of a difficult time too. And understand your ladies and don't divorce them so quickly. And ladies, I'm not going to advise on that front because the way I perceived Martin for a good chunk of our relationship during this whole perimenopause, the menopausal state, was not happy. And we have come close to the divorce thing before. We're coming out the other end, at least it feels that way. So we'll see where it goes and what happens. I've listened 1 minute and you're not very educated. Well, thank you. I guess in comparison to your experience, you have a different education. Well, then that's wonderful. I would love to hear your education on the subject, because that's how you become educated, is you open your brain to what other people are saying. And it would be great if you could make that statement by living my life, but unfortunately, it's physically impossible to go back and change that. So if you'd like to contribute based on your experience, I would love to hear it. The whole problem with this time of life is there's so many perceptions on it, and different doctors, different philosophies, different religions, different points of views, different genetics, mixed genetics. For example, my father is English, Irish, Scottish, and Parisian French. My mother has Native Indian and she's French Canadian. So Native Indians are technically allergic to alcohol. and Europeans are technically reactive to things like cigarettes and tobacco. So the joke is my mother can smoke my father under the table, and my father can drink my mother under the table because of their genetics. Of course, their children have both sets of genetics. So how does that affect them, right? We don't really know because all four of us have different percentages of those genetics. Social distance is my choice, and yours. The public has brainwashed many. What's that got to do with women in the entertainment industry and business and menopause and perimenopause? Oh, are you talking about my shirt? Oh, no, the shirt's a fun thing. Look at this. And I really don't care if the government tells me to wear a mask. It's not that big a deal. I wear costumes all the time. This is a geek shirt for all those who are geeks. Woo! And the back has got, let's see if I can get this into camera. The back has got a dice. I don't know if I got it into camera or not. Martin, can you tell me if I got it into camera?
Almost to a little bit to your right. Maybe a little far from
I can't. It's how we roll in Latin. So if that's what you're talking about, oh, dude, you are so close-minded. I really don't care. My government tells me to wear a mask. I will wear a mask. I want to go shopping. It's not hurting me. It's not hurting anyone else. I'm fine with it. But that's not the title of this broadcast, nor is it the subject. I just like wearing the shirt. It's comb cotton. It was a gift, and I'm a geek. And quite frankly, my cloth masks feels better. Love it. Thank you, Katrina. I know, but I couldn't get the whole thing in unless I was really small and far away from being able to reach the devices. But you know, it's I really don't give a damn. Like I mean, I understand what Europe's done and what they've done and what they haven't done, and I understand what other countries have done and haven't done, and I'm a big, huge fan of learning from patterns. And so when my government says wear a mask, I bought a cloth mask. It's more comfortable than my scarf, and I wear it when I go in the stores. I don't wear it when I'm all the way out in nature, so to speak. Though social distancing is difficult for me because I'm a very social person. But if everyone bucks up and the numbers drop enough, then I am going to go running around town when they finally give me permission, and I'm going to hug everyone, including strangers. I don't see this as a political thing. So, yeah, everyone chill. Chill your jets. Me started on the wearing of masks subject. Yeah, Katrina, no. No, we're not gonna go on about it because it's yeah, and it is a difficult thing for some people, and that's fine. You know, I respect you, you respect me, we keep going. You know, it's not a big deal. Sorry, Rocky. But no, so it triggered me because I'm tired of being treated like a little kid. God bless. Well, if it triggered you, you know, you gotta smile right here. You don't have to be right in my face to see my smile. I still smile at people under the mask. And I've got these clear masks. These things are awesome. They're clear masks with little filters in it. So people who have a hard of hearing can see your, hi, thank you for the award, can see your lips move and they can still read. And they got these little filters and stuff. And like, I mean, I have to wear a mask when I'm spray painting on set because that's part of the union agreement. You have to wear a mask when you do certain things. You have to wear a mask when you deal with the toxic chemicals. You have to wear a mask when you're sanding so that you're not breathing in the particles of the plastic. I've been wearing masks of various types for so long. To me, it's just like whatever. But this is what I'm saying is there's no point in triggering it. I'm an individual. You're an individual. Hey, you want to talk about geek stuff? You want to talk about the entertainment industry? You want to talk about Toronto's a great city? You want to tell me about your city? That's all welcomed here. But this whole political crap is not. It's just a fun shirt. My sister's deaf. Then, oh, here, Martin, will you do me a favor? Will you go get me one of those masks? I got it on Amazon. You got to see these things. They're great. Got it on Amazon. It was really cheap. It was like $8 Canadian for us each, which for a Canadian, that's cheap. We got them on Amazon, and they come with replacement filters, so you can wash the filters a few times before they start disintegrating. But I want to show you this then. If you know, this might help your sister, or at least the people around her. She reads lips, I assume, right? Here, Martin's gonna bring me one. They're tangled together. It's okay. That's okay. I tied them together with the little hook, just so that they would hang together. Look at these things. They are brilliant. Here. But they're clear, so people can still see your lips. And then we just spray them down with alcohol at night, and then we let them hang overnight. But yeah, you got these little filters that filters in. Now I don't exercise in these though, because they're like a vinyl. Exercising in them is not good, because they're vinyl, so it really sweats and holds it all in. But if it's just day-to-day shopping and stuff, I worked in class 100 clean room. I had to wear a complete suit and mask. Wow. But yeah, you see there's these little filters, and it comes with extra filters, and you can double them up if you're worried. Right? These things are brilliant, especially when people are hard of hearing. And if we're working in a shop, these are great too because, they keep the particles from the paint. You have to replace the filters more, but it keeps the particles of the paint from getting in, and shortens the lifespan of little filters. But it's easy to buy these little filters. But it's so brilliant because people can see your lips, so they can read your lips. I got it off of Amazon, Amazon.com. So I think they were like $6 American, and we wound up paying like $8 Canadian because once they did the conversion. But yeah, I got them off of Amazon. There's so many versions of these too, and these are, we got it like a pack of 3, so they wound up being discounted per. I think they were originally like $10 if you bought them separately. But they're brilliant. They're absolutely brilliant. I love these things. So yeah, look on Amazon. Because your sister will never have to worry about, not seeing other people's lips ever again. So yeah, things like that are out there. I think it's one of the best things, even though a virus is horrible, one of the best things that have come out of this has been the 101 clever ways people have found to be able to function. It's just incredible. Absolutely incredible. So, I'm really proud of companies like this that went above and beyond and thought it through and created something else. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, the filters, and you can double up the filters if you're a little paranoid, but like I said, don't do any heavy exercising because they are like a vinyl. So they do get, when you start really heavy breathing, the filters don't allow the breathing to really get through as much, especially if you decide to double up. I've seen people double up the little filters inside because they're really worried, but they're great for just walking down the street, and they're great for going shopping. We had a staff member at the local market behind the cash register, and she's hard of hearing, and she just loves Martin and I because when we come shopping down at the market, we've got them on, and she thinks it's the best thing. And people are like, "How are you communicating with her when I have to keep repeating myself?" I said, "Well, you're wearing a cloth mask, and not only is it muffling you, but she can't see your lips." These, she can see her lips. Important question. Who here is wearing pants? I know you aren't, Dawn. Oh, or you were wearing pants earlier when you left the house. Are you wearing pants again? Because if you're wearing pants again, why aren't you back in your kilt? Get comfy, dude. You're home. I understand, yeah. But we do a lot of things on this channel. We talk about props. We talk about building things. We're gonna have a Valentine's Day special. Because of the COVID thing, because of the lockdown, a lot of us have gone online. So we're gonna do something different. Instead of Martin and I just being on our own for Valentine's Day, we are doing a Lord of the Rings Valentine's Day, and what we're doing is $5 sponsorships will get written in a Lord of the Rings story, and I will get into my elf, and he will get into his ranger. He walks by so fast. He'll get into his ranger.
I'm working on stuff.
Yes, you are working on stuff. I'm not sure they heard you. Are you working on stuff?
I'm working on stuff.
Yes, he's working on
I'm
stuff.
getting pictures done for the webpage.
Yeah, for the store.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you are so welcome, Rocky. Because we're prop makers as well, as being special skills actors and everything, we have a lot of people in our industry that's also very hard of hearing, partially because they did not follow the rules and wear ear protection. And then you get into a shop where everyone's cutting through metal on lathes, and you've got drills going left, right, and center, and you've got larger 3D printers than the one we got here, and it's just got all the exhaust fans going, and yeah, if you don't wear ear protection, you're done. So part of the reasons why I got myself a little hands-free is so I could put it, I don't know where it went right now, but so you can put it underneath your ear protection, and you can still hear your phone calls coming in. You'll know when to walk out. If someone wants to talk to you, they can actually call you. We would do that. We'd be like practically next to each other. We would call each other or text each other, just so we didn't have to take off your ear protection. But yeah, there's a lot of people who don't wear it, and then the union rep comes in and lectures them, and yeah, it's always a matter of time. They get a couple of years into working in the industry in the shops, and then they can barely understand what you're saying. Corona also taught us that humans are vulnerable, and we need to learn to love more. This is true. This is true because whether you believe in what's happening or not believe in what's happening, we do have to learn to love more. And as we've been discussing with a lot of the women here, including myself, I've been officially now declared menopausal, so it's a whole new struggle going through perimenopause and then menopause. When you're in certain stages of life, you just don't handle things. And if there isn't enough love and support and understanding around you, you fry. You go from being one of the sweetest things on the planet to, killer queen. And it doesn't work in modern society. It may have worked many, 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 many years ago, but it doesn't work now. And modern society doesn't tolerate it. And before you know it, you're lonely, you're rejected, you've lost all your friends. I mean, I've lost about 60% of my friends. And I think I'm working on another 10% just by trying to deal with this. Sorry, my hair is getting in my eye. My hair is everywhere today. Sorry for the bad start. Oh, it's okay, Rocky. It happens all the time. I'm a caregiver for a stroke survivor and need to attend. You do yourself good, okay? You stay well, especially for your stroke survivor. Yeah, just honey, just do the best you can, and take deep breaths, and yeah, meditate, and find in you what you need to keep going, and cherish it. That's all any of us can do. And that's, ladies and gentlemen, that's the original Christina. As I went into further and further into perimenopause, statements like that didn't come out of my mouth. I was angry at everyone. And now I'm officially menopausal and had my surgery during COVID. Yeah, that was an interesting experience. I mean, anyone who came with me had to wear masks. They had to put things over top of their clothes to keep the clothing from being touched. It was so creepy. You just shut down, yeah. Yeah, thank you, Rocky. Yeah, well, you do. You just, and all that adrenaline, and we got to keep in mind, perimenopause, a woman's body just lost all her eggs. And naturally, in nature, when all of these genetics were created, that's a sign of death. So the body says, okay, I'm ready to die now. But modern brains, because as we develop society, as we develop and develop and develop, modern female brains go, whoa, 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 no, I'm not done. I'm not, why are you telling me to die? I don't get it. So of course, every time those hormones spike, you go batshit. Because your brain is trying to focus, and your hormones are going, no, we have to die now. We have to die now. And then suddenly, out of the blue, it goes, oh, brain is right. Meanwhile, brain has already spouted out every stupid thing on the planet and screamed at everyone. And then the hormones go, okay, I can settle a little bit now. And the brain is like, why didn't you do that when I needed you to do that? And the body's like, well, because I didn't know. It's okay, right? And then suddenly something threatens or something's difficult and brain goes, I gotta focus. I gotta focus. And body goes, ooh, he's not, brain's not focusing on staying alive. We're gonna spike now. And brain's like, whoa, whoa, no, no, come. I was functioning. Come, body. Can we? And the body's like, well, maybe. So when you think about that, that's what a woman's technically going through. At least that's how I describe it. As a storyteller, that's how I describe it. That's how I break it down. It's like the body and the brain were one. And they were like this for a good chunk of your life. You had your confusing times, you had your developing times, you had all that. And then suddenly, body goes, oh, screw you. And brain goes, whoa, 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 whoa. Oops. And then menopause hits, and depending on how long your perimenopause is, your menopause is usually worse. Or better. Like my mother apparently only had perimenopause for like less than a month. I don't know how she claims that, but I always thought she was crazy anyway, so I didn't notice a difference, so she might be telling the truth. It's hard to tell. But whereas I went through 6 to 8 years, we're still not sure, and I had to have surgery to stop my perimenopause and force me into menopause. So I would stop doing what I was doing, and now it's like the weight comes on, you have to try twice as hard. You get the false appetite because your body doesn't know what to do anymore, so it doesn't know what to tell you. It thinks you're hungry and you're not hungry and you're hungry and you're not hungry. You get the worst cravings on the planet. And if you're left in charge to run a team because you've got all these great experience in your field, you still want to kill at least half of them. And like that's already been said by my female counterparts here, you've got to settle down. And sometimes it takes years. And people don't want to be around you, and people don't want to, have anything to do with you, and that's why someone like Rocky, he had a really bad start, because all he saw was this up, and I love this T-shirt, so I'm going to wear it when I want to wear it, but that's from his own personal experiences. He has his own personal experiences. And none of us can chastise him for that. None of us can argue with him. If he needs to live in that experience because his brain and his body says he has to protect himself in order to live, especially taking care of someone who needs an external person in order to live, well, that'll have an effect on people. It's not necessarily a good or bad effect because his body and mind has decided that is the effect it will have. And over time it might change, it might not. So where's always that common ground? Unless you tell someone about all the things that could be a common ground, you're only lacking communication. If you lack communication, you're only, sending yourself through stress and the other person as well. So there's always a bad start. There's always a good start. Doesn't mean there's a good ending or a bad ending, but it could be. You don't know until Martin's double checking. Were you able to log in? Did you get logged in?
Yes.
You got logged in? Okay. Was it the first, second, or third password? Really?
It's almost the last one.
It's the third password.
Double checking. You still need a high angle photo or rotation of the trays?
Photo. There's no point in rotating. Just from directly above. And anything else you think needs an additional photo, by all means take it. Where that'll happen is our rep tomorrow will say, this is too much, and she just won't use them.
Well, she doesn't say this is too much.
She's not going to run away screaming. The government's paying her to help us go online as a store for the first time in our life. Our own store online. I mean, Martin and I have thrown things up on Etsy before, and we've done the eBay thing, but this is like a store. This is like we have to be responsible. It is connected to our webpage. Store, and I'm only at the beginning of menopause, having going through many years of perimenopause. I'm pretty scared, guys. I'm actually scared. And if we talked to me like 10, 15 years ago, there would be like no fear. Now, after all these years of experience and trying to struggle with the hormones battling me, damn, am I scared. I am so freaking scared. But that's why I do things like this. You're never going to overcome your fears and your anxieties unless you face them. Sometimes it's overwhelming, and yeah, you're right, it's too big, and you need that little break. Take that break. But man, if you still got that goal in front of you, any technique, meditation, simple medications. For example, if your biggest anxiety result is your heart, ladies, that's another thing we have a bigger problem with more than men. Women are actually more likely to have heart attacks than men. They are also more likely to have strokes than men. So that's not good. Yet, in long time married couples, the woman usually dies second. Sometimes months after, like Martin's parents did. Sometimes years after, like the old women we hear about in seniors' homes that got remarried at 80 because they lost their husband at 70 or 75. And they fell in love with some guy in the seniors' home and they just figured they'd rather die married than single. You don't know, but more often than not, there are more widowers than there are widows. Sorry. No, there are more widows than there are widowers. I think I broke my tongue. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. I'm glad I put 1880 miles between me and my ex before I started my stuff. Oh, so you took care of it early. You're one of the smart ones. Yay! Martin, you didn't hear that. He's apparently not listening. Well, yeah, and sometimes that's what you have to do. Sometimes that's what it is. And I think the hardest part, I can imagine the hardest part, because we haven't experienced it yet, would be the friends trying to decide who they're going with and who they want to be friends with and feeling that they have to pick when, depending on how it's happening, depending on how it's, arranged or discussed, you don't necessarily have to pick. You just don't necessarily have to pick. So how old were you, Katrina, when the two of you, I don't know if divorce is the same in the States as it is in Canada. In Canada, we have to separate, was it for a minimum of what is it, a year or 2 years or something like that? 1 year? It's 1 year? You have to be legally separated for 1 year, which means living in two separate spaces. So you either divide your house in half, or if you've got an apartment, one of you lives in the bedroom while the other one has the rest of the place, before they will let you declare divorce. The only exceptions, of course, if there's violence in the sense that, one of you has been arrested or there's a medical reason to divorce right away. But yeah, between COVID, Trump, and menopause, I would have killed him. Yeah, I'm sorry. My friends in the U.S., even the Trump supporters, that can't be easy to have all three of those combined. Oh, you were common law. Yeah, I wanted to do the common law thing, but Martin's parents were very dead set against that, and Martin at the time was still attempting to impress his parents unrealistically. So I said, well, let's make the marriage a party. Let's make the wedding a party. And half of it was. The other half was fighting with his family all day. But we did it, and they did quiet down after that. But if I had my way, we would have had like some pagan hand fasting, party with whatever color dress I want. Forget the white. I very rarely can keep white clean. So, forget the white. Martin? I need more ice in this liquid. It's become room temperature. Cranberry juice is really tasty. I don't like watering it down, but it's room temperature now. Cranberry juice cold is great. Cranberry juice room temperature is the. Sorry, what? You're going to pour yourself some more water so we don't drink all the cranberry? Yeah, he says, yeah. Yeah. Yep, just throw some ice in. So how long were you... Not mice, ice. This isn't a beer bottle. That's a Canadian joke, folks. Bob and Doug. Look up mice and beer bottle. And Bob and Doug McKenzie. And you'll sit there and go, ew, God, why? I was with him for 5 years. We broke up. Oh, okay, so not very long. Okay. Tell me it was at least a good 5 years. It was worth the 5 years. And Martin and I have been friends for 33 years. And legally married. Legally married. Which is why we say to people we've been together for 33 years. But legally married for 30 of them. Well, as of June 9th. What? Don't look at me that way. 8th! Our renewal of vows was 9th.
That's right. Because it fell on Saturday.
And then the next renewal of vows was somewhere like the 20-somethings because it was at a pirate festival. He looked at me all shocked. See, we're very reversed in this factor. I have a hard time remembering dates. I just remembered it happened in June in 1991, and I sometimes have to look at the marriage certificate if he's not around. And Martin just gave me the stereotypical woman, mouth open, shocked look on his eyes. Like, you forgot our anniversary? Sorry, honey. I still love you. I'm trying to laugh that he doesn't see me. It's not working. Ah. And then we got back together in 2010. Then we broke up again in 2019. Oh! So you were with him for 5 years. So what year was that you broke up? So how much of a space was that? Maybe you just needed some space. But that's 9 years plus 5. Okay, that's 14 in total with a space in between. That's actually a really good run, honey. 2005. So you were together for 5 years, apart for 5 years, together for 9 years, and have been apart since. Nice. And Katrina, a lot of women say they feel less of a person when they don't have a relationship. You appear, at least from being here on Haps and talking with you in this form, which I can't see your face, you appear to have no misgivings or issues or problems. Are you happy being single? I think women just have to stop worrying about having to have a relationship. Guys are almost as bad, but they seem to get over it faster. Not all of them. There are some of you softies out there, and I love you all. Everyone, if you could share, please, that would be great. That would be great. I wasn't going to make the same mistake again. Well, yeah, you do it once. It's more than enough, especially for 9 years. But interesting. I'm experimenting with House while I'm talking to you. Some people I can. Oh, I see. I can't see Rocky's profile because he was watching on Periscope. Aha! Hey, Jazzy. Most of the time I am happy. Well, same applies for when you're with someone. It should be most of the time, though. If it's most of the time you're unhappy, well, then there's a problem. So we're an hour and a half in. I've got half an hour before I have to get off and do my job when it comes to this webpage files. And then leave Martin to do the tax paperwork. Bum, bum, bum. Martin's like sighing. He's like, why do I have to do it? Because you offered. That's right, he says. That's right. But yeah, it is harder. Like, I mean, women tend to have an easier time when it comes to promoting in certain types of things. But not all of us are those certain types of things. And a lot of women do get paid a lot, but again, it's not enough still to this day, What are you doing? I am sitting, chatting behind women behind the scenes, and the struggle it is to be a woman. And I'd love to get some guy opinions as to whether or not they were there for their women during perimenopause, menopause, or even their sisters, their mothers, and have they supported females in their jobs. And I am not talking about full-blown feminism here. I have no intention of tearing apart men, and I would never do that simply because, well, I'm still married to Martin, and that would be unfair to him. So if he wants to tear apart a bunch of guys, I won't stop him. But I'm not going to scream about it, and I'm not going to yell about it. We're just going to chat about it. And some people have been asking over the years for me to talk about on this subject, so I thought tonight was an appropriate time. Why? I don't know. I have no woman. Oh my god. Well, how about your friends? Your female friends? Do you have a sister? You must have a mother. If you don't have a mother, I want to know where you came from. You do have a mother, don't you, Jesse? Right? Like, you have a mother, right? Please tell me you have a mom. Because if you don't, what's your home planet? And what type of bird is your bird? That's an old terminology. Bird to describe a woman. That's a really old terminology. That's like 1930s, isn't it? Or is it 1920s? How's your bird doing? And referring to your girlfriend or... They don't mean your parrot. Actually, no. What? Jesse? Honey? Were you adopted or... Did she pass away young in life or... Anymore? Well, originally... Like, Martin technically doesn't have a mom right now either. Although my mother would beg to differ. But she's not his mother, so... Anymore. Anyone who is not on Haps, come on over to Haps. I don't think I'll make my 250 tonight. Because I need 70 more viewers to make my 250. Everyone, please share, 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 share. I'm watching the little pop-ups in the computer corner of Martin uploading to Dropbox, because this machine is connected to Dropbox, uploading the files. And you're really doing well. You're doing these fast. Nice. Yes, but she passed away 10 years ago. Is Haps the new Periscope? Kind of. Movie Matthew. Haps is... Or 11. Wow. Yeah, Martin only lost his parents last year. So he's still trying to mentally kind of figure it out. But yes, Haps is well, Periscope wanted us all to go to Twitter Live. They don't want us going to another app altogether, but Haps is so much cooler and seems to work better. And it's in beta. So because it's in beta, they take our input very seriously. We're able to say this worked, this didn't work, because they're still developing the app. So when you become a Haps person, like when you come over to Haps, instantly you get like 7 follows, 7 subscribers. Those are all the Haps development team. And they are awesome. Every single one of them is awesome. So it's haps.tv/ the @ car, C-A-R-R, hunger, Martin, right, H-U-N-G-E-R. Is anybody going to Twitter Live? I've seen a few Periscopers go to Twitter Live, and I've seen a couple of them come over here after trying Twitter Live. Yes, Periscope will be completely gone March 31st. They will do replays. They are keeping the database active, so when you log into Periscope, you will find all the videos, because basically the videos are going to be transferred to Twitter Live. but we will not be able to use the app to broadcast. And then I can't remember what date it is, but shortly after that, it will go to online only and the app will not work at all. Oh, it's going. Next day is April 1st. No, it's going. They have now bought up, I'm happy they haven't bought apps, but they have now bought up a number of broadcasting apps, and they're shutting them all down. They've got contracts with everyone that they're all shutting down. Everyone's got until then to clean up their desks and be fired, because they're trying to make Twitter Live the app to use. So I don't think they can touch Twitch. Twitch is too big. And they can't, I doubt they'll ever be able to touch Facebook. Facebook is too big. But yeah, they're bumping everyone out of the way, and Haps is just here saying, nope, you're not going to do that to us. What's beta mean? Beta means it's an underdeveloped app. So when we do, like for example, if something went wrong here, I would do the @ signal and symbol and one of the Haps team, and they would come on and check it out and fix it. Coming to America, March 5th on Amazon Prime Video. Yes, stay on Netflix March 12th. It's a kid's movie based on a kid's book. Nice. February 12th is Barb and Star on digital. Cool. A new Disney kids movie, February 19th. They can't touch Instagram or TikTok either. Well, this is true. TikTok was recently bought by an American company because China was going to shut it down because it was originally from China. And they couldn't control it. So China threatened to completely shut it down. A whole bunch of TikTokers got off the platform because they didn't want to be there when it shut down. And then, what's in my back pocket? Oh, my hand's free. I was looking for it earlier. Well, there it is. But yes, and then it was an American company. I can't remember who it was, but an American company bought TikTok so that it could stay active, it could stay alive. So now people in China can still be on TikTok, but their broadcast will not be seen in China. It'll only be seen everywhere else in the world, which is kind of self-defeating for the country, but you know, I guess that's the way it is, but there's very few Chinese still on there. Majority of the broadcasters on TikTok, amazingly enough, statistically enough, the majority are Canadians. I guess we're bored. I guess we're really, really bored. We don't have as many protests to go to as our American counterparts. It's an assumption, of course. They can't touch it. Tom and Jerry movie, February 26th. Nice. Nice. See, we don't have most of these services, so we're going to be skipping a lot of things. Plus, Martin and I don't have much time anymore. We'd like to get the time. We managed to get back on, what is it, Martin? Netflix? For American Prime. Yeah, a friend loaned us their Prime login so we can watch American Gods. Oh, please, what you say is true, though. What, the whole Canadians are bored and because Americans have so many protests, or the Chinese, you know, basically lost their own app to America, or there are too many Canadians on TikTok. Make time. Oh, Jazzy, I wish. I wish. I have to make time for meditation and a whole bunch of other stuff. Prime is good. Yes, it is. I'm very happy our friend is loaning. Eventually, she says she has to take it back, but she's loaning us her login. Especially since I did some work on American Gods, so I want to see it. America protests. Yeah, okay, yeah. I figured that was what you were talking about. Well, and this is it. Think about it too, Katrina. I mean, how many women are going through perimenopause or menopause in the United States during all this hell and just don't know what to do about it? So they're showing up at the protests and they're standing there going, I don't know what I'm protesting, but I'm angry. And it's just like, well, shouldn't you stop and think about that? Maybe we need to get you a punching bag that we can hang in your living room and you cannot be gassed. It is Canadian TikTok. Yeah, I think a lot of us are just bored. I'm noticing more and more Canadians are getting on here on Haps too. There's actually a lot of us on here. I'm bumping into people from all parts of Ontario, especially. Very few BC, and it was the same with Periscope. Very few people from the other provinces. Uh, these online services, when it comes to Canada, seem to attract mostly Ontario, a little bit of Quebec. The base guy, for example, is in Montreal and or Montreal. I see a lot of Newfoundland and Nova Scotia because even though they have a small population, most of them live in the middle of BF nowhere, and social media is about the only way they can, connect with anyone or anything without spending a lot of money in gas and time. Movie Matthew's going through the whole list of what's coming out. Oh, honey, we just don't have that much time. If you lose time, you've lost it. You can't get it back. If you gain time, that's great. Maybe you can do some of the same stuff that you lost. But it's that expression, time waits for no man. It's true. Yeah, we're not going to get Paramount Plus. We can't justify the money. We just can't. There was an article in the Washington Post about the protesters. Most of them had financial difficulties. Yeah, Katrina, unfortunately, that seems to be the most common. It's like they don't have a meaning or purpose. I mean, I have a lot of financial difficulties, and I see things online, and I get that urge to protest, but I just don't give in to that urge. It's just not worth it. But I'm not surprised. I am not surprised. Especially if you see someone like with crutches and a broken leg and they're out there protesting or something, and I'm like, dude, stay home, heal. Watch it on TV and go, yay, go for it. Feel good within yourself. Everyone, if you could share, because I'm running out of time, unfortunately, and I would love to make it to that 250. If I don't, the conversation has been incredible. You people are awesome. Oh, Martin wants my attention. Those protesters get special treatment. It's true. It's true.
So now that all photos have been in the Dropbox, watermarked and cropped and everything else, what's the next step?
Okay, so you see that Dropbox folder that I set up?
Yep.
I'm gonna hang on a second, folks. I gotta show Martin something. Okay, you'll see. Oh, was it moved into here? They should have all been moved into here. Were they moved into here?
Oh,
That's the Dropbox folder.
Okay, so I need to move them out of there. Just put them in the base.
What? Where are they?
They're in the individual folders.
Oh, well, that's what I was gonna say. Your next step is to put them in.
Oh, some step ahead.
You're a step ahead.
Next step.
So your next step. Hang on a second, guys. Martin went a step ahead. Oh, yeah, there they are. Because I don't want the MOVs in the. Okay, so your next step is to take a folder like this, and things need to be named the same as the movie. So make sure these names compare, and remember, whenever you do one, it's 01. So use the same names so that my organizational will happen.
Okay.
So what you want is you take one folder and you make it, for example, where's one of the MOVs? Time box, right? So time box.
Okay.
And you put time box 01, right? Time box 01. Hang on a sec, guys. I'm just picking on Martin. Okay. So time box 1 will go in there and change the name on the same one as on the photos. Yeah, change it to time box 01. Put all time box 01 in there. So time box 02. And the reason why you have to leave the MOVs the same is because the ones I've already done, the compilations, have those files in iMovie. If you don't make the names of the JPEGs the same as the MOVs, I'm going to have a hard time later if I have to do a slideshow.
So in the case of the boxes, I have like for that one it's clock box 1 and clock box 2. One is the closed lid, one is the open lid. So how would you like me to retitle those? Time box
0101,
01, time box 01,
0102.
time box 0101 and 0102.
Yeah, and same with anything that's multiple pictures.
Okay.
Just 01, 01, 02, 02. If there's no number on it, like for example, the bull box, so it would be bull box 01, bull box 02. There wouldn't be the second 01.
Okay.
Okay, so you're making all these folders for the individual things. You should, because I already did the boxes, you will see that one video is not, where is it? Yeah, okay, that will sit in this folder on its own. Don't put it in any other folder. Because I already did the compilation on the boxes, and I already did the compilation on the custom, and I think one of the glasses. Yeah, the drinking glasses. So go into drinking glasses and find, break these down, and make sure, again, make sure the titling matches the MOVs. Yeah. Well, it probably isn't. That's the compilation. It's just, it thinks it is. It isn't, it sometimes lies, okay? So that's your next job. Okay. Thank you for being patient, everyone. I had to do that for Martin. Okay, so I will go back. Washington tells them the protesters. This Tuesday, okay. Those protesters get special treatment. Yes, they do. I'm not going to ruin my chances of becoming a nurse. Well, no. No, that's an important thing. And it doesn't make sense to do so. My father was a political reporter and he refused to vote, and people would criticize him for it. But as far as he was concerned, if he voted, he would have an opinion. And he was always worried that that would affect his reporting. So he took no sides. So when he reported as a reporter, everything was equal, no matter what party it was. So yeah, it's when something's a career or something's directly associated with getting in trouble if you do this or that, yeah, don't do it. Go home, talk about it with your friends, and wish them the best of luck when they go out to do it. Superstore ends March 25th. Superstore? Movie Matthew, explain? The 6 and iCast. For some fool like Trump. Yeah. No, there's no point in yeah, no, you're right. You're right. That religion guy, shaman, gets organic food. LOL. The year 8th season of the Goldbergs is not doing good. Well, yeah. Why is he off screen? Because this is a don't poke the lion. When you see DPTL on any of the broadcasts, they are mine. And someone had to keep working tonight. Or we will never get, the person who the government is paying to move our business on, into an online store state, wants all these files tomorrow morning, and we're hoping not to be up to 3 o'clock in the morning. Stars on Wheel of, I guess, Fortune, because F on ABC game show is not doing great. Well, it's old. It's kind of run its course. 70 days till baseball 2021 starts. Okay. 70 from 27. I vote just for the big one. 5 times I vote. What? It's a show, Superstore. Oh, is it? I have never watched it. I didn't even know it existed. Because here in Canada, we have the Real Canadian Superstore, which is a large food chain. So when he said that, I thought, oh my God, do they have it over there too? And what do you mean it's going away? TV show ending March 25th, the 6th. Superstore. He had journalistic integrity. My father, yeah. Yeah, a lot of people criticized him for it, but he just, being a journalist was the big thing for him. He started as a DJ in small town St. Catharines when he was like, I think he was 14 years old, 15 years old. And yeah, he never looked back. When he moved to Toronto, he became a political reporter. He was always doing a lot of politics stuff already in school. Like a lot of his journalism papers and stuff like that were all political and or societal. A lot of society, a lot of philosophy. And comment deleted. What? Honey, why'd you delete the comment? But yeah, he when he moved to Toronto, that became his whole life was politics. Yes, I missed that. Oh, did you? Okay. Yeah, whenever you see the DPTL, it is. It's been great. Okay. The show is St. Louis. Oh, cool. I vote when Bush ran 2 times to now. Wow. Yeah, some people, I always say if you're not going to vote, don't complain. Don't complain. And my father never complained. My father was just like, this person's in power. Him and my mom would get into huge debates because she was always annoyed by the fact that everyone was equal to him. Everyone had good stuff, everyone had bad stuff. And she would challenge him on it all the time. And he would just look at her and go, they all suck and they're all great. Which one do you want? And he talked to my mom this way and she'd get all upset. And it's like, no, Mom, he's telling you go vote. And he's telling you he's okay with it. It's all right. He's not going to help you make the decision. You got to do it yourself. Bush ran 1 time. I tuned 18 December 22 this year. So who's wearing pants on Facebook? Who's wearing pants? Martin's wearing pants. I'm wearing pants. That's what your dad taught you. Yeah, you know, countries have got to just decide. And my attitude is I could vote for someone who in the long run could be the worst choice on the planet. But the first chance I get, I'm not going to vote for that person again because that person has now had that time in that chair to be able to say, I am who I am, and this is what you voted for, and so I'm not going to vote again, for that. And that's all we can do. We're countries. I mean, in Canada, we don't have the electrical college. Electoral college. I am in Christmas vacation bedtime stuff. Okay. Little late, don't you think? I'm going to shift my body because the seat is not the most comfortable. I think I need a different office chair. A very different office chair. But, we're all human beings. We make a lot of big mistakes, and sometimes we make a lot of them in our lives. Sometimes we make less. As long as everyone pays for their mistakes appropriately, and if they've had too many chances, then they don't get any more, and if they haven't had a chance yet, then maybe they should get one. It's just different levels. It's 9:47 p.m. Movie Matthew, it is 10:47 p.m. here, so you're 1 hour behind us. You'll catch up eventually. Hey, if we ever get rid of that whole, what is it, time zone thing, daylight savings time, we might actually wind up on the same time. Because I don't know which direction daylight savings time will go. Will we get rid of the fall back or the spring forward? I mean, which do you get rid of? Fall back is just a little teeny more sunlight, during the winter, so to speak, daytime light, but it's all an illusion. It's all an illusion. Short day is a short day. We can hear our next door neighbor sneezing. The walls are thin. So I've got a little bit more time. I've actually only got about 10 minutes left, and then I have to go and pick up my part of our business and the work that has to be done. I don't think we'll be able to be back on tonight, but tomorrow we are doing ear castings. I'm hoping to be able to get all the materials tomorrow, but with the whole COVID thing, it's kind of hard to do. Arizona doesn't have daylight savings time. Really? Nice. Yeah, we definitely have it here. We have one province here that is in 2 different time zones. So when you get to the middle of the province and you drive into the other half of the province, it's a different time zone. So they're an hour apart. So your next door neighbor could be an hour apart. Yes, you'd mentioned the Jetsons the other day. You had mentioned the Jetsons the other day. The Eastern time zone will be 3 hours ahead of us. Yes. It's 10:49. Yeah, it's 10:50 now. So yeah, it will put us 3 hours. Which was kind of nice because when we moved, because there are some people that I liked watching their broadcasts, but I was never awake on time. Because they were 3 hours ahead. Like, for example, Doug and Alley. If I was working all night or something like that, I could never, like, because they go on usually around 10 or 11. I think it's 11. But, yeah, we just, I wasn't always up at 8 o'clock in the morning, 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning. High C Orange is back at Mickey D's in June. Is it really? After 4 years of not being there, people ask for it back. Well, the Shamrock Shakes disappeared for a while up here, which was very upsetting. And I noticed that last year that they're back, because I had a craving for a McDonald's milkshake, that junky milkshake, and drove up to the drive-through window and saw an ad on the board for the Shamrock Shakes, and I'm like, yes, yes. Now I don't know if they they discontinued it in Canada and brought it back, or whether they discontinued it in BC, and that's why I didn't realize that they existed anymore. Because British Columbia used to have them, but when we moved back home, BC had not had them for a number of years. So I don't know if it's a Canada-wide thing or just a provincial thing, but I'm so happy. Those things are so junky and so horrible and so incredible all at the same time. A small shamrock shake with a hot fudge sundae. It's not dinner, but damn it, when you get the craving, it's worth it. For the longest time, too, we had to keep in mind one of the rules here in Canada is if it's clear, it doesn't have caffeine when it comes to sodas. So, for example, Mountain Dew, it was Mountain Dew, isn't it, Martin? And Mountain Dew does not have caffeine in Canada, but it has caffeine in the States. So if you're a Canadian, you order Mountain Dew in the States, remember, it's got caffeine. The rules are different. Oh my goodness. What, the Shamrock Shake thing? Yeah. And the fudge sundae, yeah. Katrina, it was you yesterday or the day before that said that sugar wasn't good, right? Yeah. I have my guilty sins. Hey, if that's the only guilty sin I have, this is not a bad thing. No, I might have a few more. I'm trying not to confess too much, because then we'll have problems. I'm assuming Vince went over to some other broadcasts, and a few other people popped away on people who are watching on Periscope and stuff. It's hard to tell when you guys are coming and going. Wait. What? Mountain Dew is clear, yeah. Well, it's a little bit of I guess it's a green tinge to it, because it's got lime or lemon in it or whatever. But technically it's called clear here. So anything that isn't like a cola color, so like things like Coca-Cola or Pepsi or stuff like that, all has caffeine in it. Root beer, all has caffeine in it. But yeah, ginger ale does not. And yeah, Mountain Dew does not. But Mountain Dew in the States does. So yeah, clear means you can see through it. It doesn't mean it's white and clear. It just means you can see through it. But Canada regulations and laws say that if a pop or a cola is clear, if you can see through it, it's not allowed to have caffeine. Like brown. No, like, hang on. I'll do this. I'll do this, hang on a second. Oh, hey, I can drag from one window to another. Hang on a second, guys. Like, you hate Mountain Dew. it just did a link. That's not what I want. I want the actual image. Hang on, I'll show you. I mean, I know there's new Mountain Dews and stuff, but I don't know anything about the new stuff. I dragged and dropped the image onto my desktop, so it should be there. There it is. So yeah, see, technically, okay, so technically that's considered clear. You can see through it. So it is not allowed to have caffeine. But the same product in the United States does have caffeine because the same rules do not apply. So you have to, when you're Canadian, you have to remember that when you go to the States. Apparently Canada has a lot of different Mountain Dews. Backed by popular demand. See, I don't drink this stuff, so I don't pay attention. It's like for the longest time, certain root beers in Canada did not have caffeine in it, but the American counterparts did. Yeah, they're mild. There are small differences between Canada and the States, and sometimes they're the most subtle and obscure. Now, if a company wants to put caffeine in what's considered a clear drink, then they have to be able to state it on the packaging and get permission from the, was it food certification or the, yeah, I can't remember what the Canadian equivalent is either. I don't drink it either. Yeah, I don't even know what it tastes like. I mean, I've had some alcoholic drinks that have it in it, but there's so many other things in it, you just, you know, just don't think about it. So, yeah. I'm starting to wind down. We've been sitting down way too much today. I think I might need a snack when I get off of here just to keep going, Martin. You like that? Mountain Dew Throwback, the Northborough. Yes, we have ketchup potato chips, which you guys don't have. And if I remember correctly, you guys also do not have dill pickle. If I remember. Okay, see, there's a few flavors we have. Apparently, for a limited time, there was also a poutine flavor. Although I never tried it. Canada chips. Do you guys have dill pickle? It's hard to describe what Mountain Dew tastes like. But yeah, ketchup potato chips is the big thing we've always had. Okay, 7 snacks, Canadian snacks you cannot get in the US and the backstory on why. Okay. Ketchup chips are right up at the top. Ketchup chips. Okay, ready for this? You know what's good? Mike's Hard Lemonade, Blue Freeze. I will take your word for it. It is inexplicably a Canadian classic, ketchup chips. It is true. The ketchup chip has quite a complicated history, though. Invented in the 1970s, the ultimate decade of experiment, the ketchup chip came to be when Hostess, now Lay's, rolled the dice on a line of fruit-flavored chips, like orange and grape. Since you've never heard of grape chips before, you can imagine how it went. But their final experiment, a tomato-based flavor, has woven itself into the Canadian culture fabric. Of course, they've tried to emulate the south of the border. Nothing sounds more American than putting ketchup on everything. Just ask culinary master Honey Boo Boo about her sketty. But the attempts have either been limited in circulation or discontinued entirely. Clearly, this means American citizens do not have a distinguished enough palate for such a gourmet offering. Well, Canadians put, like, I mean, ketchup is like a substance that should never be ignored when it comes to Quebec. Your grilled cheese gets dipped up in ketchup, tomatoes on everything. There's 3D chips there, two kinds there, both great. They're from 1997. Oh. Did you lick the ketchup off? My sister loves ketchup chips. I do not. I am such a bad Canadian on some fronts. Smarties. You guys, I don't know if you know this. Smarties to an American is very different than Smarties to a Canadian. If I remember, Smarties to you guys are those little round things that come in like a little wrapper, and they go kind of powdery when you bite into them. Yeah, those are called rockets here, or sweet tarts, depending on which company. Smarties here are like chocolate inside with candy coating. The song goes, when you eat your Smarties, do you eat the red ones last? Do you suck them very slowly or crunch them very fast? Eat that candy-coated chocolate and tell me when I ask. When you eat your Smarties, do you eat the red ones last? I knew about the ketchup chips because we had an NHL hockey player from Canada who played for the Columbus Blue Jackets. Nice. Who loved ketchup chips. Nice. We'll never know if Americans eat the red ones last because Smarties are a Canuck-centered chocolate. It's not that Nestle won't sell Smarties to the U.S., it's that they can't. If you ask for Smarties in the States, you'll get a tablet candy more similar to what we know as Rockets. There you go. That's because there's already a Smarties company in the U.S. which is known for that type of candy. Furthermore, when Nestle Canada became a subsidiary of UK Nestle, there is a British version of Smarties that, while very similar, has some very distinct differences. Yeah, let me open this up in another window so I can look at it. What are the differences? Food Fight UK versus Canadian Smarties. Okay. Well, our UK friends couldn't explain what made it so much better. It was hard to argue their huge selection of UK-made import versions of readily available Canadian chocolate bars. A dedicated audience of chocolate aficionados were clearly willing to pay a premium for the UK version of a candy you could buy at 7-Eleven. Intrigued, I went home and did some digging on the interwebs, which is where I found this quite technical explanation from a chocolatier on Quora that outlined the differences. As much as I found the distinction on paper, screen, interesting, I wanted to try a side-by-side test of the British chocolate and Canadian chocolate, just for the hell of it. But then, cream eggs were out of season, so I picked a local favorite, Smartie. British Pantry had some in stock, blah, blah, blah. Packaging. Okay. Package size. No, I'm concerned. Where's the availability? Nutrition. I don't want to read all that. Okay, the truth of it is the Canadian Smarties, the look. Canadian Smarties are flatter than British Smarties, and the coating is much more vivid and less pastel. Both claim to have no artificial colors, though there's an asterisk on the Canadian package that leads nowhere. Whoops. Taste, the flavor is not the same. Canadian Smarties, to my mind, taste like Canadian Smarties. They have a coloring sweet flavor from the coating, followed by an almost hot chocolate powder chocolate taste. The British Smarties are creamier, with some notes of orange that you don't get in the Canadian version. Unfortunately, though my repeated purchases of boxes of British Smarties over the past year or so, we've done research, I keep getting rogue Smarties that tasted stale, almost freezer burned, and generally nasty. Please note to our British readers that the best before date on these is January 2014, and I'm eating them on July 1st, 2013. Okay. So slightly different taste, but still technically the same product. Yeah, you guys don't have the same Smarties as we do. Kinder Surprise. Now here's the thing, is a few years ago, Kinder Eggs found an American version that they could sell in the States, which they are complete toys, they are large, they are one piece. The Kinder Surprise referred to in here is the ones I always sneak over the border for my American friends. So if you want me as a friend and want me to sneak some over the border, let me know. I've also mailed them down, but I usually put other chocolate bars around them so when it goes through the X-ray, they can't tell there's Kinders inside. Yeah, I'm clever that way. So the Kinders that we have up here in Canada are the same that are in Europe, and they are little snap-together toys, and the parts are so tiny. That's why they're not allowed in the States. Let's see if they... Okay, Canadian original. The Kinder Surprise is an Italian creation by Ferrero. The irresistible egg with a prize inside, some assembly required, quickly became an honorary Canadian treat. So why isn't it a snack surprise in the States? A country that was founded on the Cracker Jack? Because it's banned. In the Federal Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act, first written by U.S. Senate in the 1930s, foods containing inedible items inside them, like toys, are outlawed due to the potential choking hazards it presents. And if you think this law is too old to possibly be enforced, U.S. border guards have been known to confiscate Kinder Surprises. This is true. I have learned very creatively how to hide them in my luggage. I'm clever that way. Although there was a story a few years ago about a woman who got caught at the border and she refused to give up the Kinder Surprise that was in her bag, like in her purse. She kept claiming it was hers and blah, blah, blah. And they said, well, go back to the Canadian side, eat it, and then you can come back. And she refused to give it up. So they finally did actually physically confiscate it from her and charged her a $200 fine. The Joe Louis. You guys don't have Joe Louis? I used to eat those so much when I was a kid. I don't anymore because they're just junk, but need a little more chocolate? Behold, a Canadian classic. Many regard to the Joe Louis as Canada's hand cake, answer to the American ding dong. But they've got it all wrong. The Joe Louis actually predates the 60s invention of ding dong. The Quebec-based Vachon Company invented the Joe Louis in 1932. The Joe Louis name has also caused a bit of misunderstanding. The pronunciation of Joe's as Joe has created the assumption that the snack was named after legendary American boxer Joe Louis, when actually it's named in honor of the Vachon sons Jost and Louis. And take a closer look inside the snack. That's right, Joe Louis was red velvet before red velvet was cool. That's true, Joe Louis are red velvet. God, I haven't had one in so long. That's it, Martin. When we have a week where we can just hurt, I want Joe Louis. I want butter tarts. Butter tarts is also a Canadian thing. I don't know. Cream eggs. Yeah, cream eggs. Oh. What do you miss? The flakies? Yeah, the little cream in between each layer of pastry? Yeah. I miss those too. We are terrible. Cracker Jacks are not very good anymore. Have they changed? I haven't had Cracker Jacks in ages. I used to get them for the little, hologram stickers that came inside them. Like the Twinkie. Yes, except square and red velvet. I think Twinkie is just dark chocolate. Well, not dark chocolate, but it's like a black chocolate. Sounds so good. Joe, listen, guys, get your butt up here, and we'll introduce you to all the Canadian crap that'll put on 100 pounds, and then you can go home and exercise afterwards. You want maple syrup? Well, I do like my maple syrup, but I don't have it every day. I've been using maple syrup and honey to replace sugars. You want to know? I hate Nanaimo bars. I hate Nanaimo bars. I'm disgusted by Nanaimo bars. I have no interest in Nanaimo bars. Don't ever give me a Nanaimo bar. Joe Louis is closer to wagon wheels. Harold's right. Joe Louis. Thank you. Hi, Harold. Except it's spelled J-O-S. It's spelled J-O-S, but it's pronounced Joe. Well, it's kind of a marshmallow on the inside, but it's creamy, but it's not as creamy. So it's more vanilla-y. They're good. Coffee crisp. Oh my God, if you guys haven't had a coffee crisp, you have no idea what you're missing. Coffee wrapped in little wafers and chocolate. It's just like, miss your cup of coffee? Grab a coffee crisp. This is another concept you'd swear was south of the border invention. A coffee-flavored chocolate bar, but it's actually a Canadian variation on a British treat. Originating from Roundtree's Wafer Crisp, which itself has also morphed into the Kit Kat. It was a Canadian variation that was popular enough to last when Nestle took over the company. The bar has been courted by Americans. An online petition took 6 years to bring the crisp to the US, though the marketing and distribution was discontinued in 2009. So now it's only Canadians that like their coffee crisp. That's a moon pie in the States. What, the Joe Louis? I guess so. That's right, you guys don't have Big Turks. Call yourself someone that lived in BC, don't like Nanaimo. Harold, honey. I didn't even try an Nanaimo bar until I moved to BC, and I hate the way it's layered up. I don't like the combination of tastes, and I don't eat coconut. I haven't eaten coconut in like 30 years. So to eat it now, especially when things put coconut oil in it, because it's the in thing to do, I get sick. So yeah, I know it's a bad joke, but that's okay. You know how hard it was to find a freaking butter tart, let alone a gluten-free butter tart in BC? There was like one bakery that made them, and every once in a while Walmart would get some in. No more grabbing butter tarts at the cash out, and just they barely exist in BC. I was like, you guys call yourselves Canadian? Yeah. You love crisps. Big Turk. Okay, Big Turk is Turkish delight. I don't know if you guys know what Turkish delight is. Speaking of Nestle, they have another bar whose taste is even more unique. The Big Turk is a retro-looking Canadian original, thin layer of chocolate covering a pink Turkish delight. If you're wondering what Turkish delight even is, it's a sugary, starchy mixture that creates a hard gel-like treat. You've had it at your grandmother's, I reassure you. Never sold in America, the Big Turk also holds a statistic over its Canadian counterparts. A 60-gram bar only contains 3.5 grams of fat. Mars bar. I used to eat Mars bars all the time. And then they brought out the dark Mars, and I couldn't leave them alone. And now it's just like too much sugar. I swear either they increased sugar or my tastes have changed. Not lived yet, yeah, really. Big Turk. Oh my God, yeah. I to this day, I love Big Turks. Just that Turkish delight in the middle is just like, it's butter tart a cookie? No. How do I describe a butter tart? Butter tart is kind of like a small pecan pie. I guess is the best way to put it. Here. Let me drag this picture onto my desktop. And then I will close that window. Here, I'll show you what a butter tart looks like. These things were a total addiction, and I ate them all the time as a kid. They were like my biggest sin, because they're at every single corner store in Ontario and in Quebec. They're rare in BC. They're almost as hard to find in Alberta, but the rest of the country, butter tarts are like a staple. And they're basically, when they're baked, because there's butter in them, and when they're baked, the top of them just browns like that and gets crisp. Sometimes you can get them with pecans in them. Sometimes you can get them with raisins in them. But that's a basic butter tart. I know. I've been craving butter tart since I got back to Ontario, and I had one at the X. I had this supersized square butter tart from this little baker that was in the food building, and it was sinfully incredible. And Martin looked at me and said, "Just the one." I'm like, "No, I want to buy a whole bunch of them." Martin's like, "Just the one." I'm like, "I want to buy." Martin's like, "Just the one." Martin and I both love and hate you. You know that? Yep. He says, "Yep." Yeah. They're basically like middle, like tiny little pecan pies when you think about it, without, pink cream soda apparently is a Canadian thing and not an American thing. Pink cream soda. I did not realize that. Stay away from that controversy. That sounds so good. Yeah, you gotta have butter tarts when you come up. I have a friend in Texas whose girlfriend is from Toronto, and she's been living in Texas, and every year he gets me to mail down butter tarts for her, just so she doesn't miss them. If you're getting a little thirsty, prepare to drink in this odd Canadian conspiracy. Now, yes, cream soda is sold all over the world, but what color is it? If you said reddish, pink, in a pink bottle or can, then you're Canadian. For some yet unanswered reason, cream soda only seems to be this color in Canada. Crush, one of the top cream soda producers, has a wholly American history, founded in California in 1916. After creating their most famous Orange Crush soda, which led them to a host of other flavors. However, it's only in Canada that their pink cream soda is sold with zero public explanation of this national phenomenon. What, we like our cream soda pink? I don't understand that. But I never thought it was any other color. But I've never drank cream soda while I was in the States. I rarely drink it up here. Huh. Well, Barq's cream soda would be, yeah, that's the color it should be before it puts dye in it. Obviously, they put dye in it, but I figured that was a cream soda thing. Apparently not. I will come for the coffee, Chris, and butter tarts. Okay. Okay. There's the Nanaimo bars. We'll skip over the Nanaimo bars because I hate them. Pink is close to red, our flag. Oh, I wonder. All right, I'll read it for you guys, but I really don't like the Nanaimo bars at all. While many of the snacks on this list have roots elsewhere, the Nanaimo bar is a Canadian treat, born and bred. Though its origins are not quite exactly clear, the classic recipe, a layered sandwich of wafer crumb, custard, and melted chocolate squares, first appeared in BC in the 1950s, though the city of Nanaimo has claimed it as its own. No one's really sure if it actually started there, but no one's going to argue with them. There have been name variations, the New York bar, the London fog, etc., but Nanaimo has held strong in its namesake. The city's website has a quintessential award-winning recipe and offers a self-guided tour where you can taste many of the variations and celebrate the chocolatey history of Canada. No, I'm looking at this image, and this one looks like it's made, this particular image looks like it's not made with, oh, I see some coconut in there, but it looks like it's mostly nuts on the bottom layer. The way they make them in BC, it's like a whole layer of coconut. It's not even cream anymore. It's like this really gross coconut cream that it's just all you taste is the coconut. So I just basically, no. 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 Oh, excuse me. I think I've been drinking. So that's 7. I'm looking at this Google list. 32 popular Canadian snacks that you can't buy in the United States. 11 best Canadian treats you can't get in the Americas. All Dressed Wikipedia. Oh, All Dressed is the other chip flavor. And I don't think, you guys also don't have salt and vinegar, I believe, in the States. And apparently you don't have Mr. Biggs in the States. Oh, people, just get your butt up here, come visit, and I will run you around to every single store and restaurant, and you can ask, you can look at all the shelves, and you can ask, and you can just go back a couple 100 pounds happier and spend the next 6 years burning it off. Have you mentioned poutine? Now, poutine is special. Yeah, we did Smarties. That was on the list. Poutine may be a Canadian treat, but it was because of an American tourist we have poutine. It's because of an American tourist we have poutine. Apparently the story goes, I don't have a date on it, but apparently the story goes is that an American was in a little teeny French fry shop, and as Harold, as you know, French Canadians love dipping everything. And this French fry shop had the fries, and you had a choice between fries or flat chips, in other words, like things like corn chips and potato chips. My mother's a sucker for potato chips as her thing, but she's also French Canadian. So this American came in and said, I want to order fries, and I want to order the gravy, and I want to order the cheese curds. And she handed it over like they normally do. The cheese curds are in a side cup, and the gravy's in a side cup, and you have the fries. And apparently this American looked at her and said, why didn't you pour the gravy over top? Put the cheese on and pour the gravy over top. And this young lady who mostly speaks French, she speaks enough Canadian to get by, or English to get by. I just slipped up, and she said, "Oh, poutine," and he said, "Sure, call it whatever." Poutine is actually slang for little mess. Now, when my grandmother told me this story years and years and years ago, I thought she was just trying to get a laugh out of me. I was a little kid. But more recently, someone challenged me to look it up, and I did look it up, and the story is true. Well, at least it's true to the internet. So, yeah, apparently poutine is slang for little mess. And she was asking him if he wanted to make a mess of his food. He's like, whoops. There are times ignorance comes up with something cool. There are times it does not, but there are times it does. So yes, poutine is very distinctly Canadian. However, it took a tourist to get it right, I think. Now, where's the best poutine? That's still a debate. Everyone fights over who's got the best poutine. If you're part English, anywhere that's got a lot of salt in the gravy. That's my sin. Salt. Such a horrible sin. Oh, Martin, I went 21 minutes past. Uh-oh. I still don't have 250, but you need me now, don't you? He says it with hesitation. Yeah. So, folks, I didn't make it to 250, but excuse me, I'm chewing on my ice. It wound up in my mouth. I had to chew on it. But I have to go. I have to go. I have to actually pull my weight in this company. But check the updates. There's the Valentine's thing. There's the costume contest thing. And very soon you guys will be seeing an announcement that our store is now open. And if you are one of our sponsors, what we're going to do is when we open that store, because products will already be up there, we will give you a gift card discount. We haven't decided how much the gift cards are going to be worth, the quantities yet, but because some of you have been sponsors here for a while now, for at least over a month, we figured we might as well give you a bit of a kickstart and give you a coupon code so that you can use it when you're ready. And then from that point on, after the store is up, any new sponsors after that will be handled differently, where it'll be a discount per item type thing, depending on the item and what went through it, and the quotes and stuff like that, because you're not going to be able to use it. Maybe we should make the gift cards so that you can be using for a quote, towards a quote. I'm going to have to look at what the validity of that is. Yeah. I may have good news for you guys. But we do have to make it viable. So we're going to be pricing everything and comparing things and looking at other pages of similar ilk and making some wiser choices than we have in the past. So you guys should get a much more complete reality for us and what it takes for us to survive and do our art, and we will do our best to make sure that everything is incredible. Because man, Martin and I could do some incredible right now. We really could. So folks, I'm going to go. I didn't make it to the 250, and I'm half an hour past when I told Martin I would be on. Well, almost half an hour past. So I am going to go, and your finger isn't even on camera. So of course, respect yourself more than anyone else. Self-love, self-respect is always a good way to start, your own existence in life. And, be careful what you wish for. We've discovered that one we've learned the hard way. Oh, we're heading out. I'm sorry. You can always watch the replays, by all means. You can always leave questions in the comments, because the one thing I love about HAPS, above and beyond everything, is you can still give awards. Ow, my glasses are stuck. There we go. You can still give awards, and you can still leave comments, and you can still do everything with a repeat cast that you can do with a live cast, because that's the way HAPS is designed, and Periscope doesn't let you do that. No worries, thank you. Thank you. But I got to go work with Martin on our online store, which is a brand new concept for us. So we're all excited about this, and we got on a government program where where they assign you a developer and they help you create it all. So I don't know how much they normally charge per hour. It's just really nice not doing it alone. But she has given us some deadlines, so we should do it. We should definitely get those deadlines done. It's funny, when I get closer to this camera, it goes out of focus. Ooh, that's better. You do that and it kind of, ooh, hey, look at that. That's a little better. Just a little. All the best for your project. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And everyone, do make sure you keep an eye on our posts and our comments and everything, and make sure you ask all the right questions. I'm going to make sure that I post enough that you will have the right things to leave comments on in order to ask the questions. But we've got Valentine's Day, which you have to sponsor before the 12th or by the 12th, so Martin and I can write the Valentine's Day stories. And we've got the Car Hunger COVID costume contest. And we've got a lot coming up. We just have to solidify some plans here and make it all work and fit into a schedule. Martin and I, confess, have gotten really lazy on the schedule front, simply because we haven't had to have one in a long time. So, time to stop that and be ready for the world, because eventually that COVID thing's going to go away and the world's going to be right there for all of us. All right, folks, listen, respect yourself, stay safe, stay healthy, treat yourself, well, and not too well, because then it becomes the opposite, but well. And we will see you guys all later on, and enjoy yourselves. And hey, Martin, do you want to come and say bye, Martin, anyway? I know it's my Don't Poke the Lion. So whenever you guys see a DPTL, it's Don't Poke the Lion, which means it's me. So you want to say, you got to get in the shot. There we go. You want to say goodbye, Martin?
Yeah. Goodbye, Martin.
I'm sorry I left you so long.
Oh, that's okay. I was enjoying listening.
Oh, good. Oh, good. He's not sick of me yet, apparently. Fingers crossed, yeah. Fingers crossed. All right, folks. Thank you for the support. Thank you for the awards. Thank you for everything that makes everything wonderful. And we'll see you again. I'm going to play the video just because it's good form. Bye. Okay, this button here.
Keep it kind.
We had a great time in Montreal. Montreal was all hard and floors. Right? Go on, camera. Camera. I'd like to. That's my favorite thing. That's my favorite. No. Well, look up
So how much styrofoam?
No. Way too much styrofoam. The birds are confused. It's like, what's this city doing?
Good for me. Keep it kind.
We had a great time in Montreal. Montreal was all hard and floors. Right? Go on, camera. I'd like to. That's my favorite thing. That's why I No. Well, look, cocktails.
So how much styrofoam?
No. Way too much styrofoam. The birds are confused. Like, what's this city doing?